That is the second question. So for this question, I've not indicated the year because I modified the questions in trying to cater all parts of the topic. So some of the questions I was modifying them so that can cater all parts of the what? The topic. Okay. So now, what is the first question? Or what is the question? Petroleum is a complex mixture of hydrocarbon. Petroleum is a source of many useful fuel. So I must indicate that petroleum, also known as crude oil, it contains about hundreds of components which are called fractions. Okay? So as they are saying, it's a component of many useful fuels. Now the first question here is that, what is a fuel, or define a fuel? So how do you define a fuel? So a fuel is just a substance when burned produces heat energy. A substance when burned produces heat energy. That is what we call a fuel. So that is it. Then the second question is that, what is meant by the term hydrocarbon? So this one we're not going to go through again because we've already answered it in the first question. A hydrocarbon, we said, is a compound that contains hydrogen and carbon only. That is how we define a hydrocarbon. So up to B question, the petroleum is separated by fractional distillation. Name the fractions with the highest boiling point. I mean with the lowest boiling point first, then we come to the highest. So petroleum is separated by fractional distillation. Name the fraction with the highest boiling point, with the lowest boiling point. So the one with the lowest boiling point in the separation or the fractional distillation are refinery gases. Okay, so the answer we are looking at refinery. Let me write it nicely. Refinery. Okay, refinery gases. So this is the answer. Okay, then with the highest boiling point you find bitumen. Bitumen, written as this, or asphalt. That is the answer. Then the question C, state the use of petrol. State the use of petrol. Okay, so petrol worldwide is normally used in car base. That is the common use. I'm not saying that is the only use. But if you are to give the use, so for this one I'm going to go for petrol-based cars. It is used as fuel. So I'll say used as fuel for petrol-based cars. So there are wide uses. Okay, so you can look at different uses, but in this one I'll use petrol-based cars. It is used in different. Okay, others are use it in generators. I guess gensets. There are those that use petrol. So quite a number of uses that we can talk about. But in this case, since you are just required to give one, I've gone for this one. But be free to go for the one that is at the fingertip. Then, what is the use of paraffin waxes? So paraffin waxes, we are going to look at used in making what? So for me, I'm going to go for used in making candles. Candles, what else? Cosmetics. Cosmetics. And of course, polishes. So you can go on and look at other uses that you can look at. Remember, we are looking at paraffin waxes. Okay. Let us look at the other part. That is the D question of question 2. An alkane molecule is cracked and yield the two molecules. Okay, so when an alkane molecule is cracked, these are the two molecules that are produced. What is meant by the term cracking? What is meant by the term cracking? That is the first question. So this question also, so please pay attention to the questions that we have. As we go on, you're going to find that they are all a repetition. So questions will be repeated in different years. Okay, so what is cracking? So cracking is just a breaking down of larger, heavier, and of course more complex hydrocarbons. So I can write is the breaking down of larger, heavier, let me just write nicely, heavier and complex hydrocarbons into smaller and lighter, into simpler or smaller and lighter, or let me just say, and into smaller molecules. Okay, so cracking is just a breaking down of larger, heavier, and more complex hydrocarbon into simpler and lighter molecules. You can add that. That is what we call cracking. There are two types of cracking. So the second question is that state two types of cracking. So one type of cracking is called thermo cracking. Now, thermo cracking involves the use of large amount of, or it involves the use of what? Heat. That is what we call thermo cracking. So thermo cracking uses heat to break down these larger and heavier complex hydrocarbon to smaller ones. But we have also what we call catalytic what? Cracking. So these are the two types of what? Cracking. So take note. Two types of cracking, thermo cracking and catalytic cracking. Okay, what is the other question? Write down the two possible products when the compound C1122 was cracked. So when this one is cracked, it is going to be broken down. You're saying two possible. So in writing two possible, you need to make sure that at the end, so we have CH, that is C11H24. So whatever products that you are going to come up with, at the end should have, when you add them, like this, the one that you are seeing. So these that you are seeing here, the two, the compound in which they are cracked, you just add number of carbons, how many are they? So you're going to be C8. Then number of hydrogens, 12 plus 6 is going to be what? 18. So it's going to be 18. So what I'm trying to say that the products that you're going to come up here, or the possible product, should add up to what is given here. So what if I say C4H8? Okay, then what is remaining out of, from the 11, what is remaining? You are remaining with C7H24 minus 8, what is remaining? 16. So